Hey, what's up, y'all? Okay, so I just saw the final trailer, what is supposed to be the final trailer, the actual trailer for the show, and I gotta tell you, it was really freaking terrible. Just fucking terrible. Just shock. The CGI and the visual effects, some of it just looks so terrible, so cartoony and fake, and it lacks believability. Some of the costumes just look very like not even worn in. They look like they got them off at the Renaissance Fair. Like you go to a Renaissance Fair in New York, you see people wearing certain costumes. It's like fine, it's a Renaissance Fair, you're wearing costumes, but it's like this is supposed to be a show, an epic with a budget, and it's like these people got this shit out the rack from the Renaissance Fair people. Like who is designing this stuff? I just don't get it. And elves with short hair, an elf with a fade. It just doesn't look right. And the best shot, the best looking shot in the trailer, ironically, is a shot of this beautiful landscape with some mist of New Zealand. They're like shooting. There's a shot of a hill of mountains in a mist, and that was the only shot that looked so breathtaking because it was real. Like whoa, some of the CGI in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy doesn't look good, especially Return to King, which a movie I love. I consider it to be a masterpiece, but let's face it, the CGI for the Ghost Army, terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible back in 2003, and it's probably worse by today's standards. But that looks better than what we're seeing here in this show. And it's like, I feel like people like me would be less critical if Amazon didn't keep like pumping the marketing for the budget of the show, right? Like you look at House of the Dragon, that show looks so beautiful and so breathtaking. And the budget's like $200 million, maybe less or a little bit more, who knows. That show looks just so incredible. Like episode 2 is going to have some of the best CGI ever depicted for dragons on a TV show. Meanwhile, you look at Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, the budget's like $250 million for making this show. The budget that they say it is $467 million. I think they're including the money that they spent to acquire the rights for the show, which is $250 million. But if that's not the case, and the actual budget is $467 million, like what were you spending the money on? Like for COVID restrictions and stuff? Like I just don't get it. It just looks so terrible. Like the CGI just looks so bad. And the stuff they're doing with the story, I mean, clearly it's about the rise of Saruman and the army, and they're going to go to war in the Second Age and stuff, but Galadriel just comes across as just this two-dimensional Amazonian warrior. There's no femininity at all to her, at all. It's like there are women in real life that are strong, independent, and are feminine, who are women. Like they don't have to be like act like men. It's like Hollywood or people on the left claim they hate men, but let's take the things that make men awesome and give them to women and make women men. I mean, Galadriel is a mage build. She's a mage. She's not like this at all. It's just terrible. We got Harfoots and we got the dwarves, and it's just there's like a fellowship. Like why? You got a guy who could be Gandalf who landed from an asteroid. I mean, and then there's this song. It's like a modern song that's attached to it that feels all wrong. Like Lord of the Rings Tolkien envisioned like medieval Europe and even a little bit before with pagans and Christianity and stuff like that. He having this modern song attached to the trailer just makes it sound so cheesy. Like it feels wrong. It just feels off to me. So this is supposed to be the last trailer before Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power comes out next Thursday. And I gotta tell you, this is the worst trailer. This trailer is the worst by far. I think this show's gonna lose badly to House of the Dragon. It kind of already is. House of the Dragon had the biggest premiere for a new show for HBO ever, and most people seem to love it or like it. It's controversial. Some scenes are polarizing. There's people questioning Viserys whether he's a good man or a bad man or just a complex character. Like the show made Viserys Targaryen a more complicated and complex character than the Fire and Blood book, which is a huge accomplishment. I know Miguel has said some things about Roe v. Wade and stuff, trying to make a parallel to that. But listen, what he is saying is different from Ryan Condal. Ryan Condal is the main writer and showrunner of the show. Miguel is the director. Ryan says that Viserys had no choice. So I think whatever people are trying to make out of that can just put that to bed. But This show, Lord of the Rings of Power, just looks terrible. It just, like, where was this money? Where are they spending this money? I know Amazon is new at this. They only been doing this for 8 years, making original content, but you got to get better people to promote your shows or something to make them, because this is bad. This just looks terrible. Anyways, I cannot wait to see this show, to see how bad it's going to be. And yeah, this just looks. I'm shocked. This was a terrible trailer, just awful. But that's all. These are my thoughts, and this is Brian J's Nerd Talk. I changed the title of my channel. This is Brian J's Nerd Talk, and we are here to talk about nerd stuff. Nerd. So, talk to y'all later.